Hello Twin Flames, this is Victoria and I'm here with your daily energy read. This is actually a special edition reading because it's going to be dedicated to the upcoming full moon in Scorpio and coincidentally the lunar eclipse that I've been talking about so much. This is going to be a full moon and eclipse in Scorpio, and I decided to bring some water to the table because it corresponds to the elemental water. So I brought back to life my fountain. If you're hearing water, that's what it is. But I feel like we could use some of that power to help us get into the right mood and tune in. And of course, my moon lamp. Where would we go without it, right? Okay, so it's gonna be interesting, and I'll actually pull. Of course, we will see what's happening with DMNDF Collective during this time. We will ask a question about what we need to be aware of, what we need to look out for during this time. And then there will be one extra question that I will ask and get some answers. So get ready. As for the timing, so for EST time zone that I'm based in, the full moon will begin at about 11:30 p.m. tonight. And it will end somewhere around the eclipse will begin about actually the eclipse will begin at 11:30, but it will be like full eclipse at about 12:30, and it will go away at somewhere around 2 a.m. So if you're in Europe, for example, that may be Monday morning for you, so just check that out. You can look it up online. Is it a good idea to do moon rituals? Absolutely. And if you remember, this is the full moon, so full moons help us release stuff that we are holding on to for too long, stuff that is burdening us. It could be relationships, it could be physical possessions, certain responsibilities, whatever feels like you are ready to let go, like mentally ready, but you're not letting go. This is, and if you still can't find the courage, the resources, or whatever, your brain is still finding some reasons, some excuses not to do it, it might be a good time to do a ritual to help you release it. And one of the good ways, use water by all means if it's available, and if you be creative. It can be your own thing. You don't have to. You can look up something online, of course. I'm sure you'll find something, but you don't have to copy somebody else. It can be just your own thing. I heard a very good advice that it's nice to have that element of the sign that the moon is in around. So, for example, if it's water, have some, a bowl of water, for example, and you can play with that idea, right? You can, if you have a body of water nearby, maybe you can release something with that. Like, think about the symbolism of it, right? That you're releasing something with water, right? It could even be, you're talking about a bowl, it can be putting a message in, with like maybe a note with what you're releasing in this full moon. What's your intention, right? And you can, flush it in the toilet afterwards, for example, right? Like, it has to be something that you're sending out, sending away. Be ecologically mindful, of course. We don't want to pollute the environment with our rituals. But, if it's a body of water, maybe you can do something with more natural materials. I don't know, do something with leaves or even small sticks, maybe some grass, like those kind of things. Be creative, think about it. And if it symbolizes in some shape or form what you're releasing, even better. Okay, what else? Now, Scorpio is a very emotional, very deep sign. Sorry, I'm just gonna fix this a little bit. Probably the deepest. All water signs are, but Scorpio goes really deep. So don't be surprised if this full moon is bringing out, well, not the best in you or other people around you, right? But basically bringing out some deep fears or cliches, stereotypes, that people do not necessarily speak of, but that are bothering them. So that can come to the surface, but it's good because that's how you can cleanse it. That's how you can work with it, right? Especially if you have some tools in your box, like meditations. I don't know, maybe use crystals, maybe some other stuff. That's all good. Let me get to the decks. Yeah, quick spoiler, I'm gonna be using the Beyond the Lemuria deck today. So I just felt so guided to use this deck, and I think it's perfect for times like that. If you remember Eclipse, Eclipse is even more of a revealing time for all of us, especially for twin flames who are more tuned into these astrological events more than others, right? So yeah, Eclipse amplifies all of this. So like we were talking about fears and burdens that are deeply suppressed by our psyche, that are going to be coming to the surface. Maybe you'll learn some breaking news kind of information that you never thought you would hear about or that could exist. You know, but try to be welcoming, to hear that, to know that, to learn that, because that's something that will be, you know, information is power, they say. That's something that will bring clarity for you, and even if it doesn't seem like that at first, if it's a tower moment for you, it's still gonna be can be a very cleansing experience. Speaking of which, one of the rituals with water that I just love is bathing / showering experience. So you may want to say certain, you know, words for like cleansing your chakras or, you know, parts of your body, or like imagine that you are releasing your negative emotions or whatever is bothering you, your anxiety, with water, like you're washing it away literally, right? You can play with that notion. So yeah, if it's connected with water, it's gonna be more powerful. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay, I'm gonna start with the Sacred Travel deck. Let's see what kind of advice we have for Divine Feminine and for Divine Masculine. I'll pull a card for each and then I'll switch to Tarot to get some more detail for us. Also think of eclipses, so this is ending the eclipse season, so-called eclipse season, the first one in this year. Think of it as it's paving the way for something new. And it could be, of course, different for different people. It could be starting a new life in a new place, maybe starting a new job, taking up a new hobby, meeting new people, and starting a new relationship. You know, it's like sort of like wiping off the dust or sweeping the dirt or whatever, like cleaning out the way for something new and beautiful. And don't we all like that? Of course, it's a little bit harder because it's also Mercury in retrograde time, but you know, again, you may hear communication that will be triggering for you. You know, something will just kind of explode in your face, information-wise. Try to stay neutral, or at least take a time out and not respond to it right away, because there's a good chance that it's Scorpio multiplied by Mercury retrograde energy talking in you. I know that impacted me already this weekend, and it took me some time to kind of work through it. But if it's happening to you, don't ignore it, work through it, figure out what it means, or at least it's an opportunity to do some maybe inner child work, you know, some healing work, so that you take a step forward so it doesn't bother you as much next time. Even if you don't heal it completely, this will be less destructive for you. So yeah, speaking of which, transformation, yeah, when we speak about Scorpio energy, you know, Scorpio corresponds to the death card in tarot. It is about transformation, big time. So no wonder that we got the transformation card for Divine Feminines. A fresh new way of living emerges. Like I was saying, paving a new way. I just said that, oh my gosh. Okay, Divine Masculines. And by the way, if you like the video, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe to my channel, check out other videos, and what else? I might start actually putting together a new playlist for this sort of special edition videos. What else? What else? Leave a comment. Say hello. Let me know if you'd like me to do a live at some point, to ask me some questions, maybe ask questions about your situation, and I can pull a card or two for you guys. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Wow, Journey by the Moonlight. Look at that moon. That's, I mean, you can make it up. Believe in magic, divine masculines. Oh my god. Yeah, you see, for masculines is the other, a little bit different side of it, right? It's more of like the veil is getting thinner. They're seeing more of magical things in life, you know, events that just happen just like that, just like magic. They think about it, it manifests itself, right? It can be stuff like that. But definitely this energy this time is asking them to do their transformation and to believe in magic. For me, the moonlight, and it's actually very bright, and that's what you see in the picture, right? But it's still not the same as the daylight, right? It still is, and believe me, I was just in Sedona the other week, and we did a small trail for the meditation in the moonlight, and we had to go back. You know, when we went there, it was still light, right? It was like a dusk time. When we went back, it was already really dark, and you're in nature, in the wild. There are no lights, right? And yeah, you can use your flashlight, you can use the moonlight, but whatever you do, there's still certain part of darkness, certain things that you cannot see clearly. It's just how it works. And that's why this is about trust, that there are things that you don't see for a reason, but that's what makes this journey even more magical. It's asking you to trust in divine timing, to trust that everything is happening for, you know, everyone's highest good, that you don't know the whole story, that's gonna unfold in perfect timing. That's why it's connected with magic for me, believing in magic. Okay, so let's go to tarot. Let's pull some cards to check on the energies first. So what's the energy like for divine feminines that are going through the transformation? And the picture is of the phoenix, by the way, so maybe for some of you this will be an important marker. Rising from the ashes, you know, phoenixes get reborn. They don't really die, they just get reborn with that fresh young energy again. Four of Cups for masculine. Ooh, Ten of Swords. Yeah, they need to believe in magic for sure. And I'm gonna pull some clarifiers before I speak on this. So what do divine feminines need to know about... Actually, let's do it for the twins. I'm hearing that this is relevant for both of the twins. What do twins need to know about this eclipse time? Something's happening with my camera. Sorry guys, I'm just gonna fix it a little. I think it's better. So what do twins need to know during this eclipse and full moon? The Hierophant, the Hermit in reverse. Okay, that's very interesting. What is the new opportunity that will come with this full moon and eclipse? This is called the blood moon, by the way. This concept in American tradition comes from the indigenous peoples, and you know, they had all kinds of traditions and stories connected with the moon energy, and that's why every moon of the year has its name. I finally figured it out, like, huh? What? So this is the blood moon. Justice. Okay. You see? It's gonna bring justice to whatever your situation is, twins. So cool. We do have Three of Swords on the bottom of the deck, yeah. So I'm getting with this that for a lot of people, that information that's gonna come to light is gonna bring up some pain, like painful feelings. It's going to remind you about painful experiences. Yeah, and as I'm shuffling, I'm getting Devil in reverse. So just, you know, let it work through you. Think that you are water. Imagine yourself as a body of water, like a lake, a river, the ocean, whatever speaks to you more. A fountain, a waterfall, that you know you're processing it, you're like looking at that something from different angles, and you're letting it go with the stream, with the flow of the water. Let's clarify Ten of Swords for masculines. Okay. Let's clarify the Hermit and the Hierophant. Let's clarify the Justice card. Alright, bottom of that Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, I see the vast contrast of it. Three of Swords, Ten of Pentacles. But sometimes there's just one cleansing away from one to another. You know, it's almost like when you're close to the finish line and there are some final bits and pieces that you need to cleanse and to let go of in order for you to get into that Ten of Pentacles vibe. Okay, so for the feminines, we have Four of Cups and the Devil in reverse. So what I'm getting with this and is the feminine is finally seeing the, not finally, but is getting some clarity on how the past situations where it seemed like there was no love, that they were toxic, they actually were full of love. And you can think whether it could be with your DM, it could be with other people, but where you thought like you got punished for nothing or somebody hurt you without any good reason, you're now starting to see like a few other pieces of the puzzle are coming together. You're starting to see the blessing in it, right? Like if that didn't happen that way, I wouldn't be that now. I wouldn't have done that. And that gave me, like, that's how it works, right? It's not necessarily that the event, the hurtful event was for you, but what came out of it was definitely a good thing. I was actually, I turned on my TV yesterday and accidentally got into they were playing Legally Blonde, which is a great movie. It's pretty old, but it's so good. It's like 20 years old, but whatever. The story of Elle Woods, played by Reese Witherspoon, it's super inspiring, right? For girls, for women especially, who feel like they have been prejudiced against. But what you see with it, and it just flashed in my mind like that, is there is an event at some point in the middle of the movie. I mean, there are actually a few events that are quite critical and they are quite negative if you perceive them like you can perceive them like that from the distance. I'm not gonna speak about all of them, but let's take just one. It's when her boss is, the lawyer that she's doing internship with is hitting on her. And she feels, horrible. She feels like she's not being employed for her talent, just for her looks, that, he wanted to be together, and that's what he says. So she's devastated. She wants to leave law school and go back to LA, basically. But what comes out of it? The client whose case they're working on learns about it and fires the guy. Elle gets her spotlight in the case. Otherwise, she would be sitting on the sidelines, right? She would be like pitching her ideas, trying to do her best, but even if they were good, she probably wouldn't get that kind of attention, that kind of credit for it. But she gets to be center line, representation for Brooke, for the client, right? She wins the case and she does it perfectly. Like her thinking, her intuition does it. Her logic, right? It's her, and she knows that. That's perfect. That's like, the biggest value out of it. That it gives her that extra inspiration and believing that she's a good lawyer, that she's in the right place at the right time, and she deserves it 100%. She should stick with it, right? She gets support from other people around her who maybe didn't give her as much feedback before, but now she sees their support, right? And you know, she gets that moment of glory that helps her, helps other people. We don't know if the main lawyer, like the older lawyer, would have won Brooke's case if she wasn't there, right? But she gets released because they win the case. You know, it's good all around. Certain characters, other characters show themselves who they really are. That's a win as well. So in the end, was it a good or a bad event? Think about it, right? And sometimes we can perceive certain things as negative or positive just because of what it feels like in the moment. But eventually, it's not the event itself that was good, right? It's the events that unfolded as a sequence after that, following that event. Think about that. Something happened recently that you may have perceived as something really bad, but it's actually good. Okay, it's getting long, so I'm gonna move on quicker. Sorry, guys. For the masculines, we have Ten of Swords. I saw Wands in reverse. Ace of Wands is a very sexual card, right? And I'm getting strongly that divine masculines are in so much contemplation and figuring out their life and all of those big themes that they're not really feeling sexually driven as much to anyone. If they're in a karmic situation, to karmics. If you're on their mind, that maybe not even to you, not like they're thinking about you, but not in that way. They're thinking about you and other people in their lives of where something went wrong, where they lost connection with some people, they had arguments with people because of them being weak in the moment, and also maybe because they were misunderstood. Yeah, I'm getting this strongly with this card. You see, this is actually an angel, or it seemed like that to me. But yeah, she's wearing white, like looks pretty innocent, but still got all those swords stuck in her back. So I'm getting with this that maybe they feel like they've been misunderstood in certain occasions, right? They had the best intentions. They were acting out of kindness, but it wasn't perceived that way, and it caused a lot of heartache for them and maybe for other people too. So they're contemplating on that. It makes them feel less masculine, I'm getting, but that's what the moon is causing, right? Because it's a feminine energy. It's about intuition. It's about going within. And speaking of which, yeah, we're gonna get to that actually. It's interesting. For the connection, for what do the twins need to know about this eclipse and full moon? We have the Hierophant, we have Hermit in reverse, and we'll get the Page of Cups. So guess what? This is like a transformation from the inner to outer. So during the eclipse season, the twins have been doing a lot of contemplation and inner insights and discovering certain things for themselves. What do they value? What do they believe in? What's wise and kind and what isn't? Things like that. But it was an internal process. Now it's time. So the biggest difference between the Hermit and the Hierophant is the Hermit kind of stays by himself, and it's almost like a monk figure, right? He carries the light, but he's on his own, and that's important. Hierophant, it's the other way around. Wise, yes, but this is about preaching to others. This is about bringing wisdom to the community. So it's time for the twins to, and this eclipse kind of opens the doors for the twins to start sharing their wisdom and their light into the community. It could be just local community, meaning friends and family, of course, co-workers, whatever, right? But it's important to start sharing, not keep it to yourself anymore, but start sharing. Page of Cups is also about learning to express themselves, right? And it's not going to be just dry information. It's going to talk about feelings, about pain, about love, all of those things that may not seem overly important in our age, in our society. But the twins will be pushed to go deep and with the Scorpio energy. and to start revealing this information. It seems like more personal, more private, and maybe other people are not interested in it, but they are, and they need to know. So it will help them, because there are so many people who will benefit from this epiphany, from this reveal. What is it going to open for the twins? New opportunities. It's the Justice, clarified by High Priestess. So we're just looking at the male figures, right? Now we're looking at the female figures. And they're actually matching very nicely. I mean, the High Priestess is the counterpart of Hierophant anyway. So we're seeing that the Justice is being brought. The karma is being closed out, right? Especially if the twins go with the flow and they do release that extra stuff that's been bothering them, physically or mentally or emotionally, right? High Priestess is another water sign that's talking about going deep, about, you know, it's justice with regards to someone's beliefs and knowledge. It's almost like, for example, if I were to kind of have strong belief in telepathic communication, and people around me would be like, that's bonkers, like that's just crazy talk. And maybe they've been doing that for a while to me. So now I'm kind of, that's one of my blocks or wounds, right, that aren't this, because I truly believe in it. Maybe I've experienced it, but people around me are trying to tell me that it's silly and stupid, and it's just, you know, they don't want to hear about it. So this is bringing justice from that side, where people are, you're gonna, so for example, in that example that I brought up, you may start hearing from these people who you never expect to believe in telepathic communication, in communication in 5D realm or other realms. You will start hearing stuff from them, you know, that they feel this strong connection with someone, that they thought about XYZ and then it happened, or that person, they thought about the person and they called them right away, right? Maybe they aren't gonna call it that way, but you will see that they're coming around the whole idea of it. And some of them might actually mention the thing itself, right? But in any case, it's about values and beliefs more than anything. It's about sacred knowledge, that it will be recognized, you will be cherished for it, viewers, whether you are masculines or feminines, right? It will be like, oh yeah, and that person told me about it and I just completely missed it, or I thought they were joking but it seems like it's true. Maybe they will even read the article, and in another, like at another point in time, it wouldn't matter at all, but right now they will read it and they will believe it. It will seem more real than ever. How cool is that? Okay, I don't know that I want to pull, actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's pull the card, messages from Divine Masculines to Divine Feminines. Please give me time to heal my past pain. Yeah, with Ten of Swords, we kind of got that anyway. But don't put too much pressure on your masculines. They are healing, that they are coming back to selves, they are becoming whole, and that's the main thing that matters, because that's when they are going to be, you know, the true love for you. They will be the partner that you deserve, that you need, that you will love, you know, that you will love in 3D as well as 5D. Okay, I think this is all. I'm gonna leave you here, guys. I love you all, and I'll talk to you very soon.